What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. Today, I sit down with Shane and Suzanne from Rock and Roll Painting in California as we figure out what it's going to take for them to get to 2 crews. They're at 1 now, and we really need to dig down deep into the foundation of what's going on in that 1 crew. And it was a great episode. It was short, sweet, to the point, but sometimes it works that way. A lot of action steps were given. This episode starts right now.
Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. What is going on, everyone? I'm here with Shane and Suzanne of Rock and Roll Painting, and we're here for Business Breakthrough. So, Suzanne, I'll let you take it away. First, what's going on in the business? I want to know how many people you have working for you, number one, and tell me a little backstory, and then what's an area that you guys are wanting to tweak or improve?
Sure. Well, we are Rock and Roll Painting, and we're located in Mission Viejo in California in Orange County. Okay. And he and I met about 8 years ago, and he was working for friends, making them rich. Yep. And I said, "You've got to spread your talent and let's start something." We live in a gold mine here for painting. Everybody's just always wanting to one up someone else, you know.
Yeah, it never stops.
Absolutely. So right now we have my husband who's on the crew every day. Okay. We have 3 guys who have been with us for the one longest, about 5 years. 6 years. And the other one's 2 years and then 1 year. And then we just hired a new guy.
You started this 5 years ago.
We started, we became licensed last year. However, we were operating since 2017 as a painting business.
Love it. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
so go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so we have a great crew, and one area that we're trying to work on is building that second crew. Sure. And I took your advice and I went on Indeed, and we were bombarded. I couldn't keep up with the applicants. There were way too many.
Right.
Way too many. It was ridiculous.
Sometimes that's not a good thing because you can't pick.
When
you don't have a strategy behind that. I see. Okay, so let's kind of recap. So I got Shane on the job here. Now you have somebody that's been with you for 5 years, right, Shane?
Right.
Okay, so he's what's his name?
Omar.
Omar's been with you for 5 years. Now, who's underneath Omar in terms of just longevity? You have 2 other people?
Yeah, so we have Memo, who he's our foreman actually. Okay. And he's been with us. Yeah, he's been with us for 2 years. And then we also have Omar's brother, Moises, who came on this past year. And then the new guy who started last week.
Yeah, last week. He's good.
So that's 4 minus, that doesn't include Shane then.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I'm 3 and 1.
Oh, you guys have 8. Okay. Yeah. Whatever, 7. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys do. You know, there's so many different job types. What do you guys do? Interior, exterior, cabinets?
Both cabinets. We specialize in cabinets and banisters, but we do interiors, exteriors, drywall, wallpaper removal, whatever you name it.
Okay. What else?
We like to stay away from staining. We don't like staining.
So you do wallpaper removal, popcorn removal?
Yeah.
We don't do
popcorn.
No way.
No popcorn?
Not anymore.
Crazy as some of the people I talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you guys finding your jobs?
You know what? Lately, the last couple of years, they've been going so smooth. We have maybe had 1 or 2 jobs where we've had to go back for a touch-up.
Well, how are you finding them though? Where are they?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, which I know you suggest, in the beginning it works. Yeah. However, where we live, people are constantly talking about who they use. Sure. I have a Facebook page. I have a Yelp page. I do some Facebook ads, but most of it is, my friend Mary, told me they used you and you guys did a great job.
I love it. And for what it's doing for you guys right now, it's working. And if it were working to the standard that it needs to work of you guys creating a second crew, then that would have already been done because the demand is so high. So we know there's only a certain amount that's going to give you regardless of how it is, because it's not like every word of mouth turns into a job. It has to be the right job type. It has to be the right price point. Some neighbors don't like to share how much they paid. Some do. And that kind of creates a little weird thing. Well, you charge Joanne $3,000 less. Well, Joanne promised me, that she, whatever. So, so word of mouth is good. You heard me say this. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. You get it. But you told me your goal is to get to the second crew. So Shane, let me bring you into the conversation.
Yes.
Why haven't you started a second crew?
We can't find the right good help. It's really hard to, we try people out. We start them off minimal and just don't have what our expectations.
Suzanne, you listen to the podcast more than Shane, right?
Yes.
I listen every day.
So Suzanne, you know what I'm going to ask, right?
With the interview, are we asking the right
What is
question?
the hiring process look
like? The hiring process, correct. So what we do is we basically will put an ad out. Lately it's been on Indeed, or before we were doing it on the Facebook job site they have. We like to have the person come over and meet us in person. Our home office is in our garage. That's where we do everything. So we'll have the person come over. We'll talk to them about their experience, find out what kind of tools they know how to use. If they're not afraid of heights, that's a big one for us. We stress the importance of punctuality and being dedicated to us Monday through Friday without taking side jobs. We also find in California, it's very hard to find painters who are legal and would like to be on the books. And that's something we've learned our lesson from. So we only hire legal, U.S. citizens.
Are you guys using a payroll company?
Yes, we have a bookkeeper who runs through her company that she uses.
Okay, so everything's legitimate in terms of paperwork and all that stuff. Good. It's important. So in terms of your process, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was, hey, you got to have a way to filter people out. And how do you do that? The first step is between you and Shane. It's offline. It's essentially identifying what it is that you guys want, right? And that comes down to the roles of who is on the job, who's going to run the next job. Those are all important things. So
absolutely,
I get it in a sense that I can't find good help, but in the same breath, I say, well, have you clearly, number one, identified team roles, right? In other words, what each role is on each job. That's number one. The optimum amount of painters on each job and the optimum job types, because what you're running into is a roadblock because you haven't created a system that can be duplicated because it's not clearly defined.
Right.
In other words, when I ask you what type of jobs are you a specialist in, you name 4 or 5 different tasks. Right. And to me, that's 4 or 5 different businesses, Shane. And I know that sometimes we take that stuff because, again, word of mouth gives us pretty much whatever comes our way. Right. So when that happens, we kind of say yes. We say yes to everything. And I'm just getting to a point where I just want you guys to understand, when you scale, you have to have something that's documented in terms of, okay, this is how rock and roll painting works. There's a project manager on site. In this case, it looks like Memo is that guy, right? These are the qualities that Memo has that makes him qualified to be that project manager. And I'm going to ask you, what is those qualities that allow Memo to be a project manager?
Sure. Memo has every single quality. He is a perfectionist. And in my world, I would rather the job take a little bit longer so that we don't have to return. He won't leave the job until he's satisfied.
So his standard is high.
His standard is very high.
Okay, so his standard is high. So let's reverse engineer this, because essentially what I want you guys to do is be able to pinpoint the next Memo. And when we recruit people, it's important for us to identify these qualities in a way that we don't have to get to know them for 2 years in order to find that out, right?
Right.
Yeah. The one thing I do have to say, the one thing he's lacking, which is I think one of the most important, is punctuality. He, for 2 years, for the life of him, cannot be on time.
So let me ask you a question. What have you done to help him in a way that gives him no choice?
Well, we give our whole crew a wake-up call every morning with a text, and we wake them up at 6:30 a.m. He's up. His just concept of time is gone, but he's actually said to us, why don't you dock my hours? Yeah.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be giving wake-up calls.
I know, but it's him.
That's what we do.
Guys, guys, this is enabling behavior that can't scale.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a motivational text in the morning, but I think it's more of, I hope these guys wake up. And I want to ask you something. What time do you guys start your jobs in the morning?
8:30.
8:30.
8:30?
8:30 to 4:45.
I mean, here's the deal. You know, ultimately, guys, I think you guys need to get over the fact that you made it this far and you're excited about it and you're still shocked, and start gearing up and identifying you guys are good at what you're doing. And
they're really good.
You do provide something that is valuable to anyone coming into your business in a
Absolutely.
sense that you guys are solid as a power couple, number one. You care about your employees, number two. You clearly are going to only work with high-end clientele, number three. You probably won't take $1 until your team is paid, number four.
Absolutely.
So stop letting the employee feel as though that you need them more than they need you.
Yeah.
I'm being honest, because that's what's happening. It's time to shut that off. No more wake-up calls, and it's time to start creating rules.
Yeah. It's a motivational wake-up call. Just like, come on, guys.
Do you guys have an app that makes them clock in the morning?
We don't.
That's your problem, number one. There's no accountability there. So that's
there isn't.
Right.
If I give you any advice today, it's to go get QuickBooks Time.
I have QuickBooks, so okay.
Well, it's QuickBooks Time.
Okay.
Everyone downloads the app and they need to clock in the morning, because chances are you may not know what time they get there, and you're calling one of the guys that's punctual asking if what's his name is there.
Well, that's why I have him on the site every single day.
morning,
He's never
day.
late.
No.
He's always there.
I'm there early or on time.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When they're late and they pull up 30 minutes after you get there, what is the
I get
conversation?
pissed.
Well, I kind of,
You're not there, Suzanne.
I know, but he tells me.
I ring them a little bit, but I want their day to go good because it reflects to everybody else,
So what does that really reflect to everybody else? That it's acceptable for the leader to compromise, and what do they get for being punctual? In other words, you're not rewarding the people that are doing a good job,
right?
And you're not reprimanding the people that are doing a bad job. You're just thankful that they showed up, Shane.
You're right. You're
Absolutely.
right.
And the other guys are on time every day. Every day. So we did a bonus time week where we said, if you're on time every day this week, it was really for memo, then at the end of the week, we're going to cut you a bonus. We're not going to tell you how much. And of course, we knew that the guys on time weren't going to get the bonus, but Memo just couldn't do it. And, I don't know what else to do for him.
Yeah, no problem.
My daughter popped in.
That's cool.
So guys, you came on here for a reason, and I need to just hit these points because you won't scale that.
Absolutely.
That's unacceptable. I think that guy Memo probably is really good at his job, and he doesn't. He's very job focused, but he doesn't understand what it's doing to his team. That's not leadership.
Exactly.
I had somebody in my business that was like that: 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I said, "Look, you want to raise? You want to get what you want financially? Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grade you on each day that you are not here on time, because I can see it when he clocks in, because I have the tool."
Okay.
I love the guy. His standards high, great person, great personality. He has this one thing in terms of punctuality, and I gave him an opportunity to hold himself accountable to get what he wants, which is that raise. And in other words, I relay back to him what his average was each week. Okay. So I go back to him and say, "Hey, you missed the mark here. Our agreement was you need to be 90%, which means you need to be clocked in before 8 o'clock every day, 90% of the time. You get one variation, and it better be a good reason."
Right.
Now, I'm not about motivating by fear. I'm about motivating by data. And ultimately, you guys have no data to motivate on.
Right.
And we got to get the bad habits out of the way on the first crew before we even think about getting to
Yes.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
You agree with that.
Right.
Agreed.
So with Memo, you told me that his standards really high, but his punctuation's really low. And to me, that's not a project manager.
It's
You're
not.
a manager, Shane. You're showing up and talking to the customer every day, setting the tone for the day, going over the process for the day, and then boop, here comes Memo. How does that look to your high-end customers?
Oh, it looks
actually,
horrible.
This guy rolling in's in charge.
Looks really bad. It makes and it reflects back on us. It makes
I
us
got to bounce back and forth to places throughout the day, mostly.
Okay.
Material.
How often do you guys have team meetings?
Well, every Friday, the guys will come to our house to get their paychecks. Every week we pay them. So on Friday, if there's anything we need to talk about, we'll talk to them then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bad time to have a conversation.
I know at the end of the week when they want to go home, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bad time to, they'll probably just nod you so they can go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta fix that. It needs to be a Monday morning. And I think it needs to be next Monday when you say, hey, we're using a new clock in, clock out app. You get everyone locked in.
Sounds good to
I
me.
like
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you
Yep.
show them so there's no excuse. You pull Memo to the side and say, hey, man, this isn't going to work anymore in terms of you being a good fit for this company if you can't wake up on time. No more wake up calls, guys. I love it. I think you care a lot, and that's
He
good.
cares too much.
Think about the other team members.
Mhm.
What are they learning from this? Is that you guys are pushovers when it comes to following rules.
Mhm.
And it's
Pretty
not
much, yeah.
I'm this freaking I'm not a general on site, guys. There's just a mutual respect here. You know, customers don't want you to be late, and you're starting at 8:30.
Yeah.
Around here, that's a good time for them.
And also we have our kids. I
Yeah.
work sometimes,
Yeah.
so he helps get our kids to school in the mornings.
Hey,
It's
you
just
don't need to be going to jobs after how long you've been in business in the morning.
I know he doesn't.
No,
I know.
I like to do it.
He
That's,
likes
I
to
know
do
you'd
you know.
like to,
Yeah.
but let me tell you something. It would be better if you came in at 10 o'clock because what does that do? That lets you see how your jobs can be ran for the first hour and a half without you.
There you
Hey,
go.
why didn't you guys do this? Why wasn't this done? Why wasn't this
Right,
done?
right.
You're not giving anyone the opportunity to lead.
Yeah. Once I find that right foreman, that's when it's going to happen.
I mean, you're telling me Memo's the foreman. What's up with Omar?
So Omar,
5 years.
we've asked him. His English is not very good.
Yeah.
It's really not. He doesn't feel
But
comfortable.
we've asked him many times if he wants to take that position.
And so he would be a great foreman. He
Oh, he'd
just
be awesome.
Talk about.
he really can't communicate too well with English to the clients if when he arrives.
So how do you guys understand him? Do you speak Spanish?
No, but his brother's on the
Yeah.
crew, and
Yeah.
he can speak
Brother
some
speak
English.
English?
Yes,
So how come his brother, he can't relay information to his brother?
he could.
They could do that.
Absolutely.
Stopped. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
blessing in disguise there. I think
We can
somebody
work
with you for 5 years. You guys got to, honestly, what you're telling me about Memo is I think he needs a gut check. And I think
Yes, he
you need
does.
to demote him in a way that motivates him. And then if you want to start the second crew, that's his opportunity, but don't tell him that.
Right.
That's how you see who's really with you guys, because ultimately the only way you can grow is with people that not only value the job but value your business.
Mhm.
Exactly.
For sure. For
So
sure. I
there
absolutely.
agree.
would be some changes that occur, and I think the first thing is the clock in, clock out app, and this is more not so micromanaged. This is accountability.
Mhm.
Shade. Stop starting the jobs, man.
Okay.
That's partially my fault, Tanner, because I'm a micromanager kind of, and I like to make sure everything goes smooth. Everything I do all the communication, and I want to make sure the job gets started off on the right foot.
Me too.
But we need that right foreman
Me
for sure.
too. But you're growing out of this need to control every aspect of the business because people can't learn to lead unless you let them.
That's correct.
You
Right.
let people make mistakes so you can correct them. But if
Right.
you're always there correcting while they're making the mistake, how does somebody reflect on that?
You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of getting to a second crew. It's more than just more marketing. It's more than just more sales or more jobs. It's make sure your first crew is autonomous. In other words,
Correct.
Shane, let me ask you this. What is the chance that you could just take off this week and not go to any jobs?
There's no chance. There's no chance.
So don't tell me you want to start another crew until you tell me that that's a reality. So you need to just perfect this crew. You have four members here, so it's not about finding people. We'll have a separate conversation about that. If you
Okay,
guys want to
all right.
come back on here.
Absolutely. Love to.
That's a limiting belief. We'll just flick out of the way because
Okay.
that doesn't exist. There's so many people there. It's just a matter of finding the right ones.
Correct.
Almost
Right.
like how you two found each other. You picked each other,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
That's
We
how I
sure
found
did.
My wife, she was the right one. I
Yeah.
filtered
That's
out
right.
the bad ones, right?
Yep.
So-
Yep.
So that's how it works, guys. But again, there's some things here, and it's all about people, guys. That's what business is about. It's about identifying characteristics in people. Now, either giving them the opportunity to change habits and behavior, or recognizing that this person's not going to change and they're not a good fit for what you guys are trying to accomplish. And you need to be okay with letting people go, Suzanne. Maybe that's a little hard for you because you care so much. I'm the same way. But I learned early in business that it's better for both parties, for their growth and
Well,
for my business, to make
yeah.
the decision early.
Well, we both have really good hearts. However, his heart is way too good, and it for business, he can't separate that business and personal. A lot of our employees become our friends.
You know what it's like, maybe
exactly.
You know what it's like, and I think the empathy part of that is important, but you have to weigh it out as a business owner. You have to look at risk reward. Is the risk of keeping this person better for the colony, right? Because you're hurting 3 others if one person is weighing everyone down.
Right.
Now, and I've been through this more times than I hate to admit, because I've given people opportunity. I've strung them along. I've made excuses for them when other people would bring it to my attention. I've given them way too much leeway that just got taken advantage of because they know that I'm a kind person.
Yep.
And at some point or another, you got to cut the cord, or you're just going to let them run your business. And that's what's happening. Now, I don't know this guy, but I know the personality behind it. And I know that if you guys are enabling it, why would someone change?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, he buys lunch every single day for our entire crew. They don't have to go anywhere. Like
water, sodas.
He's amazing to them. It's like, come on.
You guys got a spot open?
Right? No, come on, let's go.
We'd love to have you.
He's an amazing boss. I got to say
I'm a great boss.
He's a really good
boss. Wrong with that. I love it and I encourage it.
Yeah.
But don't get taken advantage of.
No,
that's the problem. For the right person.
Right.
But again, you have somebody who you've had multiple conversations with. Be on time. There's no repercussions here. Okay? Here's the deal. You set the standard. That's the app. You set the expectation. You better be clocked in at 8:30 or you're not working this week. Are you bold enough to say that?
Ooh.
She is.
I don't know.
No, I can do it.
Yeah.
You get one variation if you must. If it's something that comes up, if you get one variation, if you're not clocked in at 8:30, you're off for the week.
Wow. Okay.
All right. That's good.
And then that means he has to work more.
Then I work more. So let's talk about that one a little bit more.
If he's off for the whole week, then that means this guy's got to work more.
And that's okay. Be willing to do that.
I'm willing.
He is.
Be willing to do that in a sense that you're either going to learn if the individual that you put to the test is worth a growth opportunity, or you learn that they will see themselves out because they can't meet a simple rule of being on time.
Absolutely.
I'd rather that guy be on time than stay late.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all about that.
He always says, well, I'll stay later.
No, it's not about
we can't do that, man.
That's not how
you
it works.
need to get out of their home.
Working after 4:30?
Yep.
No, get out of their home and let them have their night in their home, the clients, you know?
And that's how you got to do it. And it's about setting the standard and setting the tone. Suzanne, the wake-up calls, if it's from your heart of just motivating the team, cool. But if
it is.
If it's because you're praying that they wake up,
no, not at all.
It's motivation.
It's motivation. Let's have a good day. Let's have
a memo. That's
have a fantastic day, guys. Basically.
Yeah. And I think that it's well received. It's just for some, you and I both know, which you admitted, it's a wake up. So we got to get
for one.
For one, it's like everyone else is getting motivated, and you're calling this guy 3 times, hoping that the third one he wakes up, and you're wasting your morning on this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I know.
Couple things here, guys. I don't want to go any further because you guys got to take action on these things before we go forward. I do these for free. Anytime you guys want to come back on, I would love for you to come back on after you implement this time tracking system.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
How that goes. And it's a little bit of accountability because do not come back if this problem's still there.
Okay.
And that's from my heart because I want to
hear you.
Right on. We appreciate this.
For you today?
Absolutely, bro.
I appreciate your time for sure.
I'll catch you guys on the next one, okay?
All right, buddy.
Sounds good. You have a good day.
God bless.
All right.
God bless.
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for listening to that awesome business breakthrough. I hope you got a lot out of it. So next up is a pro spotlight. We have Mark Bradford. He is a pro Dripjobs user, crushing it. Now, what's cool about Mark is that he was one of the people that was like literally on the fence. I couldn't get him to budge. I think he signed up one time and then didn't really use it, canceled, and then came back and then he used it and he loves it now. So this was awesome to get him on to share what Dripjobs is doing for him. And hopefully, if you're on the fence, maybe you can see what Dripjobs can do for you.
What's up, everyone? I'm here with Mark Bradford. Okay, first of all, let me start with this. You were one of the most skeptical people to ever use Dripjobs. What's changed, man? Do you like it? Was it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is like the return on investment is like instant. As soon as you integrate it with, the stuff that you already have in place, I linked it with my website, with
Nice.
my request a quote button,
Yeah.
and it's just every phone call that I get for customers requesting an estimate. I just redirect them to the website, and Dripjobs
Yeah.
takes over from there.
Love it.
So yeah, it's definitely been a game changer. I'm still learning some of the aspects of it. And I think it's great that there's new and updated features coming in all the time. So, and I'm definitely
Yeah.
excited for the Google Calendar when that comes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely it's made a
Good,
huge
man.
difference.
Good.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was one of the things is because you and I had spoke before and you weren't sure if, because sometimes it might feel like Dripjobs is too big, right? Because I know that you kind of do your own thing. Are you still, solo?
Well, I do have a couple full-time guys and a part-time guy.
Okay.
So,
Oh, cool. All right.
we're definitely growing. Um, so we want to use, whatever's appropriate as we grow. And I think
Yeah.
that,
Grow into
Drip
it.
Jobs,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. So there's still some features of Drip Jobs that I don't utilize yet, but that's just because I need to take the time to really fine tune them and tweak them.
Absolutely.
So I still use every part of it. It's just there's some parts of my old estimating process that work in tandem.
Yep.
So eventually we'll be merging that.
Great.
Like I said, it's just it's a fine
So,
tuning
so
process.
you got a couple things. You mentioned the booking link, and I just want to make sure you know this. I know you're directing people to go to your website, but we added a button on the bottom menu. It says new request. Have you seen that on the Dripjobs app?
That I don't know that I've seen that. No.
You got to check it out. So if
Okay.
someone calls you, you hit that button and you just punch in their phone number and it sends them the link. So you don't
Oh,
have to
cool.
say, hey, go to the website. You just hit that button, put in their phone number, and then just like that, they get the link to fill out the form.
Oh, even better. Yeah.
So save a step there. So you've been using it now for I think 2 months. We reached out to you because you're killing it. Just curious in terms of you've been sending proposals. Have people been responding to the automated messages?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, getting onto the Drip Jobs drips and getting to scheduling has been very quick. Honestly, most of the responses that I've been getting through the automated responses have been like just
After you
because
send the proposal mostly?
after I send the
Right.
proposal and so I've gotten maybe one or two where they were kind of on the fence and the automated email helped sway them over to the side.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
but for the most part, it's, a lot of them have been just, I go out, do the estimate, and they want to get on the schedule within the next couple days. So,
Huge,
um,
man.
yeah, absolutely.
So overall, would you say, I mean, it's pretty easy, software can be pretty crazy. I mean, one of our focuses as a company is to like try to make it as simple as possible for you to get in, do what you need to do and get out. Do you feel as though like, it's pretty easy to navigate and use?
I think once you spend a good day and a half with it, it's you can jump right in as long as
Yeah.
you're, somewhat computer savvy. Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it,
So
man.
it's getting more user friendly, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you
From the
notice we
start.
started putting the lead sources there on
Yeah.
on the deal cards?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. It's
I
just
like
being
that.
able to see where people come from, right?
Yeah, and the customers have been using it too. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we force them to on that
yeah.
form.
I
Yeah. I
wondered
mean,
because it just started all of a sudden. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
word of mouth, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. And
Okay.
you know what? Generally, people are really honest on there, which
Yeah.
is cool. It's
Yeah.
not like, they just like pick whichever one. Cause I'll kind
Yeah.
of follow up. Sometimes like, how'd you hear about us? Just to see if they lied. It's
Yeah.
like, all right, that matches with what you put.
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
got data that I need to look at, lady. So make sure you're correct here.
Right.
No, that's awesome,
Exactly.
man. So just last thing, man, I always like to end with this on one of these is you were on the fence more than, like I said, anyone. I think you tried it and then you didn't use it. And then I think Mike gave you a kick in the butt. And I was like, dude, give it
Yeah.
a try. We sat down. If you if you could talk to somebody that's on the fence, maybe just doesn't have a good system or has their own system and they're thinking about Drip Jobs, what's one thing you would say to them? to sway them?
I would say, I mean, you're not locked in, and it, like I said before, the return on investment's immediate. If you can present yourself well to the customer, Dripjobs will do the rest.
Boom.
That's it.
Love
Keep
it,
it
man.
simple.
Keep it simple. Mark,
Yeah.
you're the man. Continued success for you, my friend. I see that you're growing, and I think it's only up from here. I appreciate your time, man. This was 100%
Absolutely.
voluntary on your part, bro, and it means a lot. You
Yep.
took time out of your day to do it. So thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, Tanner.